Hi, everyone. I'm Philip Tifo, the sales director at VoIP.ms, and I'm with Tommy Lee, Vice President Sales at Fanvil. Nice to see you today, Tommy. So as I said earlier, you're the Vice President of Sales of in North America for Fanvil. Today we will be discussing a little bit about VoIP.ms, but mostly about Fanvil devices and what they have to offer in the market. The floor is yours, Tommy.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Felipe. Is it Philip or Felipe? Do you know?
Since I speak French, usually it's supposed to be Felipe, but it's Philippe in Quebec. Usually when I speak with English speaking people, I just say Philip. It's much easier for everyone.
Great. It makes me sound that much more authentic. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Tommy with Fanvil. I've been with the company, within the industry for many, many years. And one of the things that I like to do is just to provide a quick introduction. I'm also based in California, here in North America. I also support coast to coast on the business side. In addition to some of the differentiation that we have to provide to partners, we also have actually two SEs that are actually based on the East Coast, which I believe is the same time frame as VoIP.ms, that provides partners with some technical assistance as well. So that's a great idea, because as you go ahead and explore new technologies, it's always good to have a backup in case you actually go out. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead with some of my presentations. I'm just going to introduce the XU series of IP phones, just to kind of go over some of the things that we're going to have present for today. Part of the agenda, really, I'm just going to do, it's going to be relatively short, but it's going to provide a quick, thorough overview about what we have. I believe both Felipe and myself are prepared to kind of stop and interact with whatever questions that you might end up having. But I'm just going to kind of go over the solution roadmap to let you know what type of solutions we can offer you as VoIP.ms partners out there, and just end up with just providing you with the resources that Fanvil can provide, in addition to some of the promotions, as well as some of the test drive samples that we have in case you want to move forward and kind of test some at basically minimal risk to you. This is the standard slide that I like to show very often that kind of gives an overview. As a background, Fanvil is 20 years old. In fact, we've been in the business for a very long time. In fact, early on in our marketplace, we actually developed a lot of our reputation for being a manufacturer for some of the other larger SIP IP endpoint providers as well. In fact, many of our competitors in this market is also our partners as well. So in that case, we've been in the industry for a long time. It's 20 years. We have over 350 employees for manufacturing. But when you look at our endpoints, nearly 99% of everything we build are SIP endpoints. They're not analog, they're purely SIP endpoints. So you can really pair up with many of the accounts that VoIP.ms can provide to you. And first, I'll start off with number one, which is the SIP desk phones. Obviously, SIP desk phones, we provide both business as well as hospitality lines. I'm not going to go into real detail. This is kind of a quick overview, so that we provide really specific endpoints that go into hospitality for those partners that are interested in going in there. And then beyond that, we also provide SIP door access units. These are devices that are also SIP. Very often when you upgrade a building from old analog into SIP, what you end up having, there's a lot of peripheral devices on the ends that actually communicate. And now you wonder, what do you do with those analog interfaces? Well, one of the things we have is both outdoor ruggedized units as well as indoor units. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that moving forward. Beyond SIP door access units, there are also SIP intercoms as well. That's the third category. And intercoms are very basic units where you can have a back loading dock, or in a case where many people have contacted us in terms of hospitality units saying, hey, we just upgraded our school or our hotel to SIP. I have an intercom right by the pool in case for emergency calls. What do I do? All of these things will kind of fit in and could provide with or without video with a single button so that it provides a no-think, one button push to gain access to emergency contact whatsoever, with or without camera for many different environments. What you see in front of you is just a small snapshot. I welcome you to join our website whenever you can, which is fanvil.com, and you will end up seeing really a whole plethora of the different flavors that we have for both commercial, indoor, as well as ruggedized outdoor units. Last but not least, we also have SIP public addresses, and this PA system is really a SIP gateway that allows you to enable any analog interface that can be driven by SIP. The most popular one is really overhead speakers. Very often when you're upgrading either a school, a hotel, hospital, they have a working analog PA system that is actually on the system and it works fine. But instead of replacing it, there's another alternative by putting a gateway in where you can go ahead and use this to interface with many of the PA amplifiers to get them working and moving forward. But tying all of these things in, we also have a device management system here that can work with or without VoIP.ms to basically give you an oversee of all of the different devices that you deploy. This is something that we provide free of charge to all of the partners moving forward. Now, having said that, I'm just going to move forward and just dig in a little bit deeper into our IP phones, which is really one of our most popular products. You can really divide it into three different series. The V as well as the XU series are our business lines. And the primary difference between the two, I just kept it very, very simple, is that the V series is our newest introduction and they contain Wi-Fi on board, whereas in the XU series, Wi-Fi is added on through a unique dongle where you can go ahead and pop it in. With the exception of some of these that are actually shown here, these models actually have Bluetooth integrated, but as you move up into the V series, all of those integrations will work in tandem so that you can go ahead and see what's going on in more detail. Last but not least, we have hospitality lines, which actually these all phones come in both black and white as well as narrow for basically things like the restroom. You could use the bathroom for these type of narrow phones, or you can just use it anywhere where you could have a very real estate hungry type of environment where you could just have a thin, narrow phone that will just want to accommodate a 2 SIP line phone. But in the basic lines here, the unique thing is that one of our phones have a display where you can actually show the hotel logo on a soft display rather than having the hard display where many people are used to when they go into a hotel environment.
Just for the record,
Yep.
XU series, XU4, I think it's already certified by VoIP.ms,
Yep.
and the V series is in the process currently to be certified with the interrupt testing.
Yep.
So we will have documentation on this for customers that want to use those devices directly with VoIP.ms. It will be published, I think, next week, if I recall correctly.
Great. Thanks for the clarification, Felipe. Digging in a little bit deeper, as I mentioned, just gives you a little bit of a deeper view on what our V series are. The nice thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, it's really the integration of the wireless technologies, both Bluetooth as well as the Wi-Fi units. We have wired headsets, but we've also made compatibility testing, and they're basically compatible with all the major third-party wireless headsets. So if you already have one, these should work with it without any problems. We have on the V67, we have tilt screen, and also we've gone ahead and we've kind of taken our plastics a little bit more, because given our strive for sterilization, we actually use antibacterial plastics in both the V67 and 65s, really, so that it really, if we have a shared environment, it really does allow to really repel against those type of things. And you can really outline it in 4 separate lines. I'm not going to go over some of the details. I'm pretty sure many people online know about these phones, but for your soft reference, you can contact Felipe or myself. We'll be more than happy to give you a soft copy of this. But what it boils down to, we made a matrix with all the 4 different models here, and where the stars are located on, and the red stars, this is where we sort of come ahead relative to its relative competition. So I'm not going to go over this, but the good news is that they're all inclusive, meaning they're all basically color screen with the exception of the V62. And then beyond that, they're all a gigi. They all support high-end codecs. These all include Wi-Fi and Bluetooth all put together under one package moving forward. Now, as Felipe mentioned earlier, the XU series, this is our core series, which can be divided into 4 separate units. Now, one of the interesting things about this is that one of the things that people really like is that we've really divided the BLF on the side keys separate from what we call the control screens up front. Why is that the case? Because many times the old style phones, when people use, always had the BLF keys running up and down, and you could also have 3 separate windows run here on all the different units. And the great thing is that with some of the alternative designs, you can go ahead and put part keys and do whatever you can here to really manage your SIP accounts, whereas it does not interfere with many of your SIP accounts that are loaded here, and as well as the X6U, which is here as well. And so what you end up having is many of the things are available right up front for all you need to do, coupled by at least a baseline unit, which doesn't have anything for people that just really need a dial tone experience. But the great news is that they all contain all the basic features that everybody kind of wants on their phone while giving you, sort of a great valued endpoint moving forward. This is just a little bit more detail about our XU series. I talked about how you can manage SIP accounts and BLFs, but the great thing we also have is the ability to provide a 2-year warranty. That's really double for many of the popular brands out there. But one of the customized things I wanted to provide is customized branding. For many people out there that have the ability to do 200 or more, you could also provide custom branding where you can go ahead and actually have your logo put on the phone rather than Fanvil. And you can actually go out there, put on your logo. And the way we do that is really providing you the capability of providing a unique template here on what we call the neutral series. I won't go into detail about this. I could spend a long time just talking about this, but I want you to know that is available. And most people require at least 1,000 units or that moving above, whereas we go ahead and do it for $200 and we do it free of charge to you, where we could provide a template giving you the access to put your name here, as well as even having a generic box. So when your customer receives it, they come basically with a phone that's branded with your name. If you want to dig more into this, I'll be more than happy to address your questions. Here is something that's very unique about the Fanvil phones is that we don't necessarily have endpoints on our desktops because we decided to take a different route. We decided to design a phone that's designed specifically for the receptionist or the desk or anybody who's looking for a lot of different buttons. And the reason being is because we found it troublesome for feedback from many of our partners, because when you do a front desk, you have to manage 2 separate firmware items and you have to connect them with a cable. Then you have to think about compatibility and cost-wise. When you match a high-end phone with an extension board, what you end up happening is you end up with compatibility issues. So what we did here was we combined everything onto one board with 2 separate speakers, in addition to having 3 separate windows. So what you end up getting is about 106 different keys that enable a phone that takes up less space. Cost-wise, it's fantastic and provides really you the capability of doing all that. Something unique about this display is that this display also can support H.264 video codec. As I showed in the earlier slide, which I'll get into a little bit, a lot of our door access units, as well as many other door access units, have H.264 video codec. And what that means is that you can actually display on here if somebody rings your bell, and you can assign any one of these keys or these keys to be the key to enable that person to come in if they happen to be, sort of the pizza person or the person delivering your mail. So that's a great piece that we could offer. Now I'm going to get into the PA system and just talk about some of the other systems we want. This system right here is really the gateway where you could put an output into a passive speaker, or you could put this into, an existing Bogan or a Viking amp that can really drive the existing speakers. And what this does is really lowers the cost that you may provide into your account, giving you sort of that edge of being able to provide that sort of upgrade. But in addition, it also has some onboard relays. So it does have the capability of controlling, gates and doors if you want to on a separate unit. But all of these have actually a SIP account located in between, giving you the ability to assign extensions or numbers to react to whatever buttons or alarms that you might have moving forward. Beyond that, this is just a quick slide or an up-close view of our hospitality phones. I just wanted to mention that these phones do exist in case you're interested in two separate colors. In addition to the soft screen, we also have the classic hard screen as well, if you wanted a soft copy with the hotel logos and the specific key assignments there. But in addition to that, we also have soft phone copies, which also contain Wi-Fi inclusive models in case you're interested in that as well. Moving on to some of the other solutions that we have door access units. This is something that we rolled out earlier this year. The great news is that with the i6 series, these are all standardized, which actually comply with IP67 durability as well as water resistance. So they're really made to handle outdoor usage. And all of them contain not only a card reader for just a single button solid state to a button, as well as a keypad, but they also include high-res cameras, IP cameras as well, which is on-VIF compatible, as well as a lot of WeGAN connections in the back. We recognize that when you enter this industry, it's made to really be compatible with a lot of existing industries as well. Our legacy units that we have here also work. They're all SIP compatible, and these things will eventually, be working together side by side, depending what type of atmosphere you're looking for. So we have ruggedized units here that can work outdoors in terms of, handling the very cold winters within Canada, as well as dealing with the really warm weather down in Florida, if you want to go down there as well. Okay. Not only do we do outdoor units, we also have indoor intercoms. Some of the indoor stations that we have here, some of the square ones with and without video, and it comes with 1 button, 2 button, as well as outdoor units here. We have units that are just 1, 2 button with or without video, depending on what you're looking for. We'll likely have a piece that really can fit within your specific budget or requirement that you need for your interface. Besides outdoor units, we also introduced indoor units as well. What this really is really a flat screen phone is the easiest way I can state it, because with those outdoor monitors, what really becomes important is the video aspect of it. And instead of having a phone hanging on a wall, it's really important to be able to have a flat screen display. So we've developed what we call indoor stations, which we just introduced the i57, the i55A. All of these are SIP compatible, whereas it behaves like an indoor phone. It also has inclusive Wi-Fi access as well, where you can just integrate it and it automatically does the Wi-Fi. But why do we have 2 models? Because we find that people just want to have a solid interface, and this one has both solid interface as well as buttons on the side, because some people prefer buttons. It's a very, very subjective matter. So you can go ahead and pick and choose what you want to do, but the idea here is it aesthetically looks a lot better on the wall, whether it's a commercial environment or residential, to display the type of solutions that you can have. But again, these are all type of SIP endpoints that you can have to do it. We have several different models, including the ones we have. And then we have some of the more basic ones that are Linux-based, which really provide a simple 5-button interface. And we also have 5-button interface with a touchscreen, giving you the compatibility of being able to do touch dials if you want to as well. It could also be supported by the higher end Android-based models up here, but it depends on what kind of requirements you have. The whole idea is that we cover the entire spectrum depending on what you're looking for. Beyond that, this is just a model that kind of show you what sort of outside where you have the delivery person. Very, very straightforward. I'm not going to go over and spend a whole lot of time, but it provides you with a lot of the different pieces that gives you an overview about what you need to do to basically exchange and go from forward to backwards in the office or in a residential area. Something that you might already hear about is that Fanvil decided to come out with a sub-brand called Linkville. And what Linkville is, it really is a mimic of a lot of the different sub-brands. Like you could think about a car. You know, when you think about, you know, a Carrera, what do you think about Carrera? You think about Porsche automatically. We come out with a lot of Wi-Fi products with many of the different numbers like W611W, which is a Wi-Fi phone. This is not necessarily a deck phone, but this phone can connect into Wi-Fi. And we decided to come out with a whole brand new Wi-Fi line. But to one thing that provides a little bit of distinction between providing all these different numbers, and you can go crazy thinking about alphabet soup, we decided to come out with a line Linkville, which will be associated with our first debut product, which is our Wi-Fi phone. And we're going to come out with a lot of different future access points and things like that that you might want to dig into, which is going to come in the near future, which will come out with our different Linkville line. This is something that we're providing samples to date. Beyond that, we also have a CS30 speakerphone. This is just a handheld size phone, because what we find very often is that when you travel, the laptop does great in terms of doing a one-on-one transaction, but what this does, this provides a 360 microphone unit, and it's really been optimized for voice. You know, you're not necessarily going to listen to, you know, deep bass, you know, music here, but it's really made to talk and have a conferencing unit so people can sit back and listen to things, and you can actually connect to it with all the different Bluetooth interface, etc. Like its big brothers, it also has all the basic noise reduction so that it basically can clarify, and it's been optimized for voice frequency. So you could bring this along. It's very lightweight, and it's something as we provide as an accessory to many of our partners out there in case you need it. In fact, this is the one item that's not necessarily SIP compatible moving forward. And as I mentioned earlier, it has 4 microphones internal so that nobody has to really crowd behind a laptop in order to be heard. You could put this as a Bluetooth interface in the middle of a mini conference table, and then you can go ahead and listen to all of the different people that surround you here. And that's kind of it. You have a question?
Yeah, is it compatible with, because most of your devices are Bluetooth enabled. Yes. So is it possible to connect this piece to the IP phone directly, or just to a laptop?
It's primarily either a laptop, or what you can do is it's been designed primarily for the laptop as well as your mobile phone. So say, for example, when you have your mobile phone, there's a huge clarity. I mean, many people like to have their smartphone you put in the middle and people listen to it. This is just another way. It also has NFC compatibility so that you can actually take it, pair it up very quickly, and that all of a sudden it becomes like an auxiliary device or a mini conferencing unit that people can go ahead and listen to on it, you know. And this one is just sort of an auxiliary devices where it's really been looked at to be a complement to a laptop or a mobile device. But in most of our phones, especially the XU series, you know, we've actually gone out of our way and put, like, you know, Harman type of speakers inside to clarify the sound. But I think you're almost competing with the speaker system that's already inside the phone itself. But in many cases, when you look at a laptop, it's really been designed for a person to sit right in front of it, which it adds more value in that space.
All right.
Okay. And last but not least, we just have a few things just on the promotions. You know, with the V and XU series, we have different promos. I'm not going to go over this, but if you buy 20 or more models, we're willing to throw in one of these Wi-Fi phones in there for $20. Or as an alternative, we can get you with one free XU model for every 20 phones you buy. On a new V series, you buy 10 models, we'll give you go ahead and we'll provide one for free, or another Wi-Fi portable phone for $10. And it's a sort of a promo that we're running from now through January. In addition to that, we also have a lot of promos for our indoor units. Again, very similar situation where you can go out. I'm not going to go in details. If you want a soft copy of this, feel free to send Felipe an email or myself, and we'll be more than happy to send this to you. So these promos are going out. Some of the resources that we have here, here is our local access to reach our SE, which is very important for many existing or even new partners that come on board. We have these things that will be available to you. You can download data sheets and firmware. Here's my contact information for your reference. And last but not least, we have test drive or NFR samples where you can go ahead and reach out to our partners and really see that you can couple one of these things. And these are, these are US dollars, but you have a Canadian version if you reach out to many of your partners as well, that you can pair up these things and really have what we call an at cost bundle device. So you can go ahead and bundle a high end and a low end device to give you sort of a test drive without minimizing your risk and trying out a new platform. That's all I have for today, and I guess I'll pass the floor back on to Felipe to close out.
Great. It was very interesting. Mostly one piece that I really like and I would love to have this in my place. It's the panel, like the wall panel for indoor. I would really see this in my house. It looked fancy. It really looked nice.
It is a very nice unit. In the olden days, people used to put a phone that was on there, and quite frankly, the big problem is you have this this thing that could fall down, and you have these drooping cords. With this, it's just sort of a flat screen display that has a speakerphone that's on all the time, so that you can put in an account and you can really go from phone to phone or go room to room, or look at who's at the front door, back door in your yard, or at the front office, back office. It really depends on what you want to do, all through a single SIP interface that you can gauge and you can enable or disable entrance from any room that you want to, depending on how you set it up.
Yeah, it's very nice and good looking devices. And another thing that I really like about your devices is the Android based operating system.
Yes.
It's future proof to me. In fact, not only Android based, but for my knowledge, I know that these operating system can be upgraded over the time. So every time Fanvil can release an update, it would be done easily. So I really like this evolution in the phone industry. So yeah, it's very nice and sure. I can't wait to test and see the devices at the office of VoIP.ms next week. So
Yeah.
I'll be playing with them myself. You can sure about that. I'm not the one who's testing them, but I will take one of the V series on my own desk at the office just to flash out to everybody else.
Great, I appreciate that. I mean, one of the nice things about Android is that many companies develop a specific application that just works with Android. So you're not going to see the standard device. We work with some, say, for example, hospitality partners where they just flash their screen. And when you see that device as an alternative device in a room, it automatically states what the outdoor temperature is. If you need more towels or shampoo in your room, you could just push a button and automatically it comes up. It tells you what type of happy hour and gatherings are in a hotel. And it shows their interface versus ours, which is really a nice.
It's added value. It's added value. It's just not a phone. Yeah, I went to the hotel this weekend in Montreal with a family, and if you wanted to have this information, you had to take the TV remote, and it was a little bit cumbersome processes just to find which information is where. And what I hear here, it sounds like it's more intuitive for hospitality use cases. So yeah, I can't wait to see it in myself.
Sure.
So thanks for presenting it. Of course, I will share the recording to all the attendee when it's going to be uploaded to YouTube, and I will provide also contact detail to everybody for to reach out to Tommy whenever you need to. So I'm gonna share my screen. If you allow me
Let me
1
do a
second.
stop share.
All right. If you all see my screen.
Yep, I see it.
Perfect. All right. So for the one who don't know a little bit about who don't know about VoIP.ms, I'm going to present who we are and what we are doing. Basically, VoIP.ms is a Montreal-based voice provider founded in 2017. So it's today, this year, it's our 15th anniversary. We offer hosted.
Sorry.
No problem, no problem. So we offer the ID numbers in more than 1,500 rate centers across North America. Now we're closer to 1,800. We offer the IDs in more than 60 countries, and we are keep adding them. And also termination in more than 125 countries. We offer toll-free numbers, SMS, MMS, call conferencing, and many more features. We have a 99% satisfaction rate, a state-of-the-art customer service, a wide range of compatible device. All the lines of Fanvil devices are compatible with VoIP.ms, for instance. And we offer hosted PBX and SIP trunking services. Here in these cases, if you connect the device directly to VoIP.ms, you will be using us as a hosted PBX as well. So why us? Why VoIP.ms? It's completely hosted, fully hosted, feature rich, and bring your own solution, and also pay as you go. I'll come back on the last point a little bit later. Or certified partner. So we are partner with all the major brand in the industry, from PBX from PBX manufacturer to device manufacturer, and stopping by soft phones and SBCs. All the biggest brand in the industry are certifying VoIP.ms services with their equipment. Here specifically Fanvil. We are in close collaboration with Fanvil since I think 4 or 5 years now. And we every time they have new devices, we are trying to certify them to VoIP.ms services to make sure that their devices work seamlessly with VoIP.ms, and we are providing to our customers a configuration guide. I'll come back also on it a little bit later to connect those devices to VoIP.ms. It's either by FDMS, the Fanvil Device Management System. You could do it this way, or you could do it directly with the firmware. Honestly, I think FDMS will be a little bit better if you to do this. It's a little bit easier, but we will provide both documentation. A little bit about our hosted features, and this is just a glance of what we are offering. We offer all the major features a PBX, either on-premise or hosted, can offer, from IVR to ring group to music on all, voicemail to email, sequences, call parking, name it. We offer a vast range of features, and also releasing few of them almost every quarter. So this list just keep evolving. I don't want to say every day, but kind of. So we offer SIP trunking as well, or where you can connect your endpoint or Fanvil devices in this case. We offer point of presence in North America, Canada, from East Coast to West Coast, in Europe, Amsterdam, United Kingdom, and France. And we also offer services in Sydney, Australia. Our network is monitored 24/7 all year long. We also offer a very advanced API. You can build almost everything you want with it. basically with the API, it's your imagination that can stop you to create something. Recently, we have worked with a guy from TikTok, Brett, and the guy with his crazy idea. Control is a door lock panel with SMS. We decided to start be able to text through our API and um, the door panel with or SMS. And this is just one idea out of nowhere that we decide to showcase. But with our API, you can do a lot of things. And I wanted to show a little bit on top of it. All right. Or API also can manage or white label reseller portal. And the white label reseller portal, it can also be used as for enterprise. If you, let's say you have a businesses, a large enterprise, and you want to offer an interface to your end user, to your employees to manage their, let's say, fax services or SMS or whatever they want to, you could use VoIP.ms white label system to provide them a web interface. And also, if you're a reseller, you could use, and that's the primarily reason why this is existing, you could use this interface to provide a web interface to your end user. It's very flexible. You can create a custom greeting page with with HTML coding. You can decide here whether or not all these services are available or not. If you want to withdraw these options, it's something you could do. You could use this as a SMS, MMS service, or not a service, but a contact center. Right now, I did not enable the ID for this. Unfortunately, I did not. But if you, it can be used as SMS messaging centers, virtual fax as well, and so much more. So this can be replicated with our API, or you could, if you want to integrate or services to your customer management platform, it's something you could do as well. You could integrate via or API this interface to your intranet or your customer management platform. So it's just one of the option or API can offer you. After that, or financial features. So as I mentioned earlier, our services are prepaid and pay as you go. So no contract. VoIP.ms offer the services prepaid, so you're only paying for what you are using. You can register as many devices you wish to. So we don't work per seat or per channel or minimum spending commitment. It's at the usage per minute. There's some fee that is monthly, like the DID, the phone numbers, but that's it. Apart from that, you can register as many devices you wish to, and you can virtually have as many channel as you would like to have. Of course, there's technical limitation at some point. Some devices have, for instance, only 2 SIP account or so on. However, it's something that we are supporting very well. Our platform is self-services, so if you want, you can use VoIP.ms platform from A to Z. Oh, from A to Z, from A to Z, pretty much all by yourself. Very, very few features or very few things needs customer support or assistance. You could manage all the services by yourself via VoIP.ms portal. And also we are offering free porting, so you can transfer your phone number in Canada and United States for free, as well as the toll free. but we also offer porting. It's not always free, but we are offering porting for international numbers in a couple of countries. I don't have that list right now, but some country we are supporting porting to. A little bit about our success stories. VoIP.ms is our main. What I want to share with this is that VoIP.ms main market is medium to small to medium businesses and resellers. However, it's also very suitable for large enterprise. In this regards, we have worked with Toys R Us, for instance, in Canada, with all their 82 store and also their contact center. I think it's 30, 35 agent. And same thing with Icon Health and Fitness. Their well-known brand is namely Nordic Trek, the things like this. And they are using VoIP.ms in all their North American infrastructures and stores, and they are using us every time they are expanding their new facilities or whatever their VoIP solution need expand. And lastly, cPanel. It's I think almost everybody in the tech industry knows cPanel. It's one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest, web hosting control panel on the market, and they also use VoIP.ms for their corporate need in their headquarters in Houston. And they are using us also for the fast-paced deployment possibilities. If connecting a phone to VoIP.ms can take like 5 minutes, literally. In fact, some YouTuber did test that statement, because one of the statement that we are saying, it's start making calls in 5 minutes. And these YouTubers did test this statement, and it was done well under 5 minutes. So connecting a phone to buying a phone number and adding fund from the sign up start process to making calls, it's literally can take only 5 minutes. So we are suitable for SMBs, but also for enterprise needs, as these big brands can say about it. A little bit about the VoIP.ms team. It's not everybody on it right now, but almost. I'm here in the middle right now. It's we are more than 50 employees in, I think now it's even 50s employees. I have a little bit yeah. So VoIP.ms is a team of more than 50 employees. We are based mostly in North America, but also not South America, definitely, but in Mexico, in New York, and in Canada. The vast majority of our staff is based in Merida, Mexico, so we can offer support in French, English, and Spanish because of this. We offer 24/7 technical support through chat, tickets, and emails, but we also have a well-known Wiki knowledge base that even our competitor are using to connect devices to to their network. We have a very good YouTube channel where there's a lot of tutorials, and a Facebook community group where all of our customer can chat together to overcome some challenges, or bring up some ideas about specific configuration, or combination of feature together that can solve a specific challenge. One of the resources that we are offering is the Wiki, and as I mentioned earlier, we are offering a Wiki for Fanvil. Right now, we only have the documentation available for the Fanvil X4Gs. However, shortly, probably by next week, we will have all the new phone lineup documented here with how to connect the devices to VoIP.ms. So stay tuned for this. And lastly, a little promotion that we are running right now for this webinar. If you use the code Fanvil when you sign up at VoIP.ms, you will get a $10 bonus on your first deposit. It's gonna help you to test the services a little bit deeper. Here's my contact detail. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any question. There's my email address and my toll-free number. And I will send you my contact detail as well after the presentation. That was it for me. Any question, anyone? Wait a second, if there's any question.
Looks like 3 people submitted I guess you got 3 questions.
Can you, I don't see them. Can you?
Oh. Oh, okay. Here, one question is the Fanvil X210 IP phone compatible with the VoIP.ms service?
X210?
That's the big reception phone.
Yeah,
The-
it will. It will be, and you will be able. This is the one with as many, like all the SIP
Buttons.
account and
That's
button.
correct.
Yeah, you will be able to create one SIP account or one SIP sub account in VoIP.ms platform to connect all those button independently. So yeah, definitely it will be compatible with VoIP.ms.
Great. Another question is, will VoIP.ms be at the I guess IT Expo in Fort Lauderdale in February?
We should. It's one of the event that we are going every years, and it's where I met Tommy last year as well. So yes, we should attend this event.
Got it. One of the last ones here is how to access Fanvil NFR or not for resale. You just have to contact our distributors throughout North America. And we have distributors up in Canada as well as distributors here in USA. So it really depends on where you're located at. You could feel free to give me a call or contact. I'll be more than happy to tell you, I guess, or recommend a specific partner for you. But just reach out to our distribution channel and they'll be able to support any NFR you're looking for.
Perfect then. So if there's anything, as I mentioned, I will send a recording of the presentation by email to everybody and or contact details. So we will be able to reach out to us if it's needed. And thanks for joining us today at this webinar. And I hope that it brought you values and good information. And I want to specifically thank you, Tommy, allowing us today, and have a nice day.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the invite and appreciate everybody's time. Take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.